Thank you very much for having me here. Catherine, thank you. And then Hong Kong ASEAN Foundation, thank you. It's delighted to be able to experience full 24 hours of little drama called Typhoon 8, right? It started with drama that, hey, typhoon, but I guess you guys are very resilient and I guess adaptive to all these challenges. So we had a good dinner last night. We started nice and early, and now we have more people coming, which shows that Hong Kong is a place of resilience and adaptability, which is a great thing. So first of all, I would like to share a little bit about Indonesia. I guess I will wear a couple of different hats. One as Chairman of Supervisory Board at Chambers of Commerce and Industry, also Chairman of APEC Business Advisory Council of Indonesia, and of course private capacity as CEO of Bakrie Brothers. Allow me to start that Indonesia is certainly on the rise and has been taking global spotlights following the successful G20 last year. Right? Please bear in mind, G20, by definition, only 20 countries. And back 20 years ago, Indonesia is not in G20. And in fact, Indonesia is the only country of Southeast Asian, ASEAN, in G20. So we take pride that we did reasonably good job, very good job, in fact, on my view, last year. And this year, as president of ASEAN, we have also put together a decent show. But all in all, it is to show that Indonesia would like to contribute not only economically, but also politically, and hopefully also in the issue of sustainability. So yeah, that's Indonesia we know right now, much different than early 80s when I used to come here as a child, go to Kowloon with a nice ferry and have my dim sum or whatnot, right? Then the next thing I would like to say that ASEAN, as you know, is pretty much on track to be the fourth largest region in terms of economy in the world. It's going to be fourth largest because it has 650 million people. And Indonesia, with its 280 million people now, is indeed a good, I would say, hopefully, big brother that people like, right? And again, ASEAN can also be one of the largest, the fourth largest export region, right? And the most important thing about ASEAN is a place where peace and stability happen at the same time, right? And for Indonesia, as a large country, we also take pride that we can have growth, modernization, Islam also there, and democracy at the same time. And what my senior, Hashim, mentioned, growing with equity, more inclusivity, collaboration, is not something nice to say, it's a must, right? You have 55% below 35 years old for Indonesia. So that kind of thing is actually quite essential for us. Yeah. Then we also see ASEAN not only a place for growth, not only a place for hopefully bringing stable geopolitics to the world, but also a place that can contribute to sustainability, right? Because in terms of biodiversity, Indonesia and ASEAN has tremendous amount of resources, right? We talk about forests, peatland, mangroves that people know, coral reef. One day we will know how to value this. And with carbon credits, carbon sink that we have, we believe on top of the numbers that Hashim talked about with the economic growth of $1.4 trillion, maybe $1 trillion from the carbon capture of the biodiversity that we have can also be achieved, right? And that number is actually quite equal to the Inflation Reduction Act number in the US. So imagine if you can value this biodiversity, process the minerals below the ground with energy above the ground. Now with technology, you can work with almost anything, geothermal, solar, tidal, hydro, and whatnot, right? And a little bit about the group. I'm going to be going back and forth. Our group is an old group. It is, 81-year-old group. So we like to call it 81-year-old startup. When we came in 4 years ago, because a lot of things, has to transform. And, we believe that when we start from fossil fuel and hydrocarbon, the only way to go is energy transition. So what we hope our group can become, we hope that our group can become a proxy of energy transition in Indonesia. So right now, we look at many possibilities to do this energy transition. And we thought probably one way to do it right is from the demand side. In this case, from electrification of public transportation, buses. So we partner with Shenzhen-based company. 20 years ago was a company that did battery for our telecom company. But now it's a big company called BYD. So with BYD, we are working to electrify public transportation, starting with buses. Not many people know that Jakarta alone has 10,000 buses. This is more than London, right? And these 10,000 buses, you have huge CO2 emission happening there. And for example, with 52 buses, we started with just last year, we have transported over 15 million people. These buses have traveled more than 3 million kilometers, and we save, I think, 5,500 tons CO2, which is equal to 250,000 per year, right, of planting trees per year. So this one is quite interesting for us to start with, but we don't want to stop by only distributing. With our partner, we want to build also a good manufacturing hub in Indonesia, starting with Magelang. But going forward, I think the dream for a group like us can be, a bigger dream. If we can start with, the buses, we can also probably think about the manufacturing. One day, we can probably provide battery materials to the world, right? So one of the initiatives on top of the electrification that we do, we hope in the near future, we can make the first net zero industrial park in South Sulawesi, which is the island that is very well known for rich minerals, including nickel. So imagine if we can, again, process that with gas that we have, 1,000 megawatt of wind farm to process the battery materials from nickel and then sending it to the West. Maybe we will have less issue in WTO among other critics on us that we are too close to China. But China, is always there. But Hashim also mentioned that, 7 years ago, the export of stainless steel is zero anywhere from Indonesia. Now it's at $30 billion. And stainless steel in the rank of nickel is probably among the lowest, right? You can do a lot with it, and it is only one of the critical minerals that we have, right? So what do we want to do looking forward in Indonesia? We're actually looking into this event other than the G20 last year, currently chairman of ASEAN. 15 and 16 of November is an interesting moment for Indonesia because APEC summit is going to be in San Francisco. And President Jokowi is going to go there. And for the first time in APEC, as you know, Nicholas here, also ex-colleague in ABAC, right? It is a group of 21 economies. By definition, is Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, right? So within this 21 economies, we have 7 countries from ASEAN. So for the first time, we're actually going to make ASEAN caucus. So with this ASEAN caucus, we hope that we can bring together the East and the West, right? In this case, of course, the US and China together, right? Like what we did in G20. And sometimes it takes a country like Indonesia to do this, right? And another thing that we also are trying to do next month is to show that Indonesia can be the accelerator of sustainability in ASEAN, right? So most likely, we will also do a strategic cooperation with Stanford School of Sustainability to make sure that Indonesia can be seen as forerunner in terms of this issue. Because as I said, sustainability for us in Indonesia is something very serious. We live in global south, high temperature, high humidity, sea level rising is not good for us. We know what happened 20 years ago during the tsunami of Aceh. Just a little thing. I know it happened because of earthquake, but we don't have to be, coach as to how, serious this is. But the opportunity to focus on this is also tremendous. I think, from my side, to relate with Hong Kong, I think Hong Kong can play a lot of roles in ASEAN because Hong Kong, one, is not only a gateway to China, but it is also probably a place that can decipher a lot of the mystics about China, right? And it is probably second nature for all of us who come here all the time. But most people in Indonesia still feel that way, right? So I think whether you do it from economic side, less on the political side, on the economic side, it can fill in the blank for Indonesians who try to expand doing business with China, but at the same time having the governance that is quote unquote accepted to the West. So that is probably one thing that Hong Kong can play a role. And number two, also I think Hong Kong can be also, a friend that can give honest feedback to ASEAN because it's not a part of ASEAN, but it's a prime dialogue partner with the FTA, right? I think that's my remark from the business side. I'm very much hopeful and first of all thankful for the opportunity to speak. Indonesia is really trying hard to make sure that by 2045 we can reach the golden era. What does it mean by golden era for us? Economically, we are talking about $4,000 capita to $25,000 per capita. But it is not only the average, but we want to make sure that we're doing it with inclusivity. And also Indonesia, I think, needs to make sure that it has the resilience that it needs. Just like Hong Kong, I was joking, but I meant it because we need serious on health security, energy security, water security, because we have quite a few people that we need to take care. And lastly, of course, we want to be in the golden era, trying to make sure that we are one of the countries that has done something that has not been done ever in the history of humankind, which is trying to industrialize and decarbonize at the same time. I think that's it from me. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and let's do more. Thank you.